After so many years of British royal monarchy, you have to expect a few skeletons in the closet. Today, we're gonna uncover some of those dark secrets. Hello! Oh my god. Hello, demons, and happy Friday. Gosh, I am so happy to be back with another sit-down video for you guys. Our first story, I decided to name Vampires Among Us. I'm sure all of us have heard the stories of either Dracula or Vlad the Impaler, but what if I told you some of Vlad's relatives still walk the earth today? In 2011, Prince Charles himself said in an interview, "Transylvania's in my blood. The genealogy shows that I am a descendant of Vlad the Impaler." If that isn't enough for you, look at this picture and tell me this man isn't related to Dracula. What makes this even scarier is that his Transylvanian blood is said to have been given to him by Queen Elizabeth II herself. I mean, it would honestly explain the fact that she's practically immortal, like, she's gonna see all of us go one day. Up next, we have a story called Corpse Medicine. Now, it's no surprise that back then people had some strange medical practices, but what if I told you that the royal family ate bits and pieces of mummies to help with these medical ailments? They believed by ingesting bits and pieces of mummies that it would help them with different things such as nosebleeds or even anemia. But it doesn't just stop there. They were also said to wear powder made from corpses' brains, bones, and different just ghibli bits. Even the moss from dead soldiers' skulls was said to help with nosebleeds, and surprise surprise, it didn't. It's said within the royal family that James I completely refused corpse medicine, but Charles II, on the other hand, made his own. Meanwhile, the first Charles was made into corpse medicine. Talk about recycling. Our next story is called Breaking Loose Ends. Queen Elizabeth I was said to have an affair with a man known as Albert Dudley. However, at the time, Mr. Dudley was said to be married to a woman named Amy Rosenhart, and this posed quite the problem, but not for long. One evening, one of Amy's servants came across a disfigured lump at the bottom of the steps. It was Amy herself with a broken neck. Her death at the time was considered a mysterious fall down the steps, however, something didn't quite add up. Later, a coroner's report revealed that she had giant puncture wounds at the top of her skull that were supposedly made before she had fallen down those steps. It didn't take long for the rumors to put two and two together and accuse the queen and her lover of foul play. And yes, pun was very much intended. Now, before we move on to the next story, what are you doing not being subscribed? Hit that subscription button down below. Why? You think you just get freebies on this channel? No, you gotta work for it. Hit that subscribe button. I'm just telling you to push that button with your muscle. Come on, it takes like two little synapses is the brain. Now, let's get on to the next story. This next story is called The Tale of Two Brothers. Now, what's royalty without a little bit of betrayal and murder? During the month of April in 1483, King Edward IV had died, and his son, King Edward V, had rose to power. He would rule alongside with his uncle, the Duke of Gloucester. However, Edward was only 12, and he didn't know anything about ruling a country. The Duke was not happy about being second-hand to a 12-year-old and decided to take matters into his own hands. He would send Edward and his younger brother, who was only 10, to the Tower of London under the excuse of their own protection. What's strange about this is that during their protection, the Duke had proclaimed himself King Richard III, and the two brothers were never heard from again. After some time, two skeletons were discovered in the Tower of London that resembled the two brothers. Fun fact is that this event was actually the inspiration for Shakespeare's play King Richard III. Our next story I've called Fate's Revenge. King William, at the age of 8, had inherited a kingdom that was plagued with rebellion. Even his own cousin tried to rebel against him. With such a harsh beginning, he decided to take out his anger by ruling with an iron fist. It's said that he dealt with these rebels by chopping off their hands and feet, and in other recorded cases, he decided to kill the livestock and farmers, forcing the people to resort to cannibalism or just starve. One day, while he was riding his horse, it decided to rear up, which jabbed the saddle into his abdomen, puncturing his intestines, which mortally wounded him. On his deathbed, he took the path of redemption and decided to donate all of his wealth to the poor and churches. He is quoted as saying, "I wish to donate my wealth to the churches and poor so that what I amass through evil deeds may be assigned to the holy uses of good men." Although soon after his death, his quarters and clothing were stolen by his servants and his naked corpse was left on the ground. He was so hated by his subjects that his body lay rotting on the ground for several weeks before a knight finally took it upon himself to see that the corpse was buried properly. However, the trip from the kingdom to a graveyard was approximately 70 miles, and during that time his body was expanding while decomposing. Upon his arrival, he had already expanded to be so giant to the point where he could barely even fit in his grave. While trying to fit him into his own grave, his bowels finally burst, causing the entire yard to be filled with noxious gases of his decomposing corpse. Wow, talk about a messed up burial, right guys? Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed these dark royal secrets, please leave a like down there below. And if you want more spooky content like this, cause like who doesn't, please hit that subscribe button. It shows me that you love what I'm doing. It keeps me inspired to keep doing this. Please comment down below on what your favorite story was, or maybe a funny royal story you have of your own. As always, stay spooky. Bye bye.